welcome to This Homemade Life. My name is Courtney, and as you can see, we're back in my kitchen for another Cook With Me. Today, I have a really special recipe for y'all. So, I do live down in Texas. We eat a lot of Tex-Mex food down here, and one of our absolute favorites is enchiladas. And so today, I thought I would bring you guys along while I made our favorite green chili beef enchiladas. So this recipe is really easy to make. It's easier than most people realize. It does take a little bit of time to put the actual dish together, but what's great about it is you can make it ahead of time. You can freeze it. You can do all kinds of things with it. I like to make it in the morning if I have time, pop it in my fridge, and then pull it out and put it in the oven in the afternoon whenever I'm ready to bake it. All the ingredients are already cooked, so bake time is really pretty minimal. 20 to 30 minutes if you've had it in your fridge and it's gotten super cold. If you're putting it in straight from prepping all the ingredients, this thing can be done in 15 minutes. It is such a delicious meal though. Sometimes we pair it with like some Mexican rice and refried beans, but tonight I'm just going to pair mine with a simple side salad just to kind of cut back a little bit on those extra calories. So I'm going to go ahead and just list the recipe and the ingredients down in the description so we can just kind of jump right into cooking. Now, the very first step, and this is really the most important step when you're making enchiladas, is you start with corn tortillas and you have to soften the corn tortillas. So if you just tried to roll them straight out of the fridge, they would crack and they would break and they would fall apart and it just wouldn't work. So the first thing we have to do is put just a tiny little bit of oil in the bottom of a skillet, and we're gonna fry each one of these corn tortillas for just a few seconds. You know, no more than really 30 seconds per tortilla. It's a quick process. Then we're gonna put them on a paper towel and let them drain and definitely cool off so we don't burn our fingers when it comes time to roll these puppies up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off with just a basic skillet. It doesn't even have to be nonstick. That just is what I own. You could do this in a cast iron skillet if that's what you have. That's fine too. Again, I own nonstick, so we're gonna be using nonstick. I'm gonna put this on a medium-high heat, and the pan's gonna start warming while I grab some oil. All right, so you don't need anything fancy, just good old-fashioned vegetable oil, and you don't need a lot of it either. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pour enough to completely cover the bottom of the pan. And it's gonna be just deep enough to cover the tortilla when we put it in. All right, and again, you just need plain corn tortillas. I am using yellow corn tortillas. As you can see in reference to my hand, they're just regular size. They're nothing fancy. You can use white corn if that's what your store carries, and that's fine too. I just ordered yellow corn tortillas because that's what I usually buy. And then you're also gonna need something to kind of fish these in and out of the oil. My personal preference is tongs, and I like these ones that have like the slotted spatula on the end. The thing about it is this will allow the oil to kind of drain off of the tortillas when we're ready to pull them out. We don't want them to be just soaked in oil. We want to fry them a little bit and then get most of the oil off and then put them on a paper towel to just kind of dry off a little bit. So this is my personal preference. You could also use a spatula if you have just a slotted spatula, something maybe like this. I've used this before many times in the past, and it's worked just fine for me. But my personal preference, just because it's easier to grip and grab these, are these tongs. One thing I do want to warn you about is these can be a little bit delicate. So I mean, you don't want to just manhandle them when you're getting them in and out of the oil. You do want to be a little bit gentle with them, but they're not going to completely fall apart. The only problem is you can kind of rip a hole in the middle if you're using tongs and you pinch too hard. But I think you guys are going to do just fine with this. All right, and the final step of preparation is I have a plate that I have just put some paper towels on. This is where our tortillas are going to go chill after we cook them. I'm going to put it right here. You want like a convenient little conveyor belt style setup, so you can just go straight from my tortillas that you can't see because they're right under my camera, right into the hot oil and right onto the plate to cool and dry off. All right, so the next step is to just make sure that your oil is nicely heated. I'm seeing mine start to kind of move around and ripple a little bit. That lets me know that it is getting close. So in my household, we're a family of 5, and all 5 of us are going to eat enchiladas all the time. I am going to go ahead and make about 14 of these because that will fill my casserole dish. And like I said, this freezes great. So if we don't eat all 14 of these enchiladas, I will individually package them. I'll wrap them up in some cling wrap, and then I'll wrap them up in foil, and then I'll put them inside of a zip top baggie and pop them in my freezer, and you can just pull them out and heat them like you would like a frozen TV dinner kind of. But if that's, you know, plenty for your family to eat, go ahead and eat all 14. There are lots of times we have eaten the whole pan over a couple of days. We do enjoy doing leftovers. It kind of makes life easier, right? You cook once and you eat 2 or 3 nights in a row. You don't have to worry about getting back in the kitchen over and over and over again. All right, I have counted out 14 tortillas, like so. Again, I've got the stuff underneath the camera so you guys are not able to see it. Sorry about that. But that's the best setup for my workstation. And I'm just going to start by taking a tortilla and popping it. See, there's that beautiful sizzle. You don't want to walk away, guys. This is not the time to like check text messages or watch TikTok videos. You want to stay on top of it. It's a quick process. See the bubbles, right? We want to make sure both sides, you know, get a little bit of time in the oil, and it bubbles a little bit. It's firmed up a bit, but not hard. And we're going to go ahead and pull it out and let it rest. That took, I think, about 12 seconds. On to number 2. Look at that. We want to flip it over, make sure both times are getting good cook time. One more flip is the way I like to do it. And yeah, we are done. All right, so I'm going to fry all 14 of my tortillas here and get that ready to go. And then we'll move on to the next step, which will be cooking our ground beef. Alright, so that first step is out of the way. The tortillas are now fried right there. They're chilling, waiting for me. They are pliable. We'll be able to roll them without them breaking. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to pop those guys in my refrigerator to kind of cool off because that oil is hot, y'all. It is so hot. So while they are chilling, I'm going to go ahead and pull out my ground beef. We're going to hop back over to my stove with a new clean skillet, and I will show you how I cook the ground beef that we're going to use to fill these enchiladas. Oh, quick note though, let me tell you, I'm using ground beef because I just think the combination of ground beef and green chilies is phenomenal. But you guys, you can put whatever meat you want in there. It could be like pork carnitas, it could be shredded chicken, it could be shredded roast. It's really up to y'all. Like I said, I'm using ground beef. It's quick and it's easy compared to some of these other meats to get it together. You know, you just pop it in the skillet and you cook it with some seasoning. There's not much to it. But again, if you guys want to try something totally different, that's fine. In fact, when I make red enchiladas, a lot of times I will just do plain cheese enchiladas. I don't even put meat in those. But today we're doing the green, and I love the combination with the beef. So for this recipe and for what I'm making, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I make my ground beef. Okay guys, as you can see, this is almost done cooking. All I have on my skillet is just some plain ground beef, nothing fancy, no seasonings, just some regular 80-20 ground beef. I'm going to go ahead and let this finish cooking just almost completely through. You can see there's still just a little bit of pink left in here, but not too much. But I'll let this get almost completely done. Then I'm going to go ahead and drain this grease out because we don't want that in our enchilada meat. And then we will talk about seasonings, which are also pretty simple. So let's get it going. I have gotten pretty much all the grease except for a tiny bit out of the skillet. I'm going to go ahead and give this another good stir, and let's talk seasonings. First of all, let's use a little bit of pepper. Then we're going to go with a little bit of salt. Next, we want to do some onion powder. If you have fresh onion that you want to chop up, that's fine too. I mean, really, it's even better. I don't, and I have a fresh onion. I didn't feel like chopping it up. So I'm going to go with the powder. And I'm going to do about a whole tablespoon of onion powder in here. You really do want to go a little bit heavy with this. Like I said, if you wanted to, you could dice up some onion. I would do like half of an onion, if that's what I was going to do. And I've done that before. Just like I said, today I'm not feeling the whole pulling it out and chopping it thing. So we're going to do this. All right. And our final ingredient is a little bit of garlic. Garlic, I'm going to toss, I have the pre-minced stuff, I'm going to toss in about a tablespoon. If you were doing fresh garlic, 1 to 2 cloves, you know, to your liking. If you like it garlicky, great. You can add extra. If you don't, that's fine. We're just going to stir this around and give the garlic just a couple of minutes to kind of cook in with the beef, not long at all. All right, I smell the onion, I smell the garlic. That lets me know that all the spices have incorporated and they are heating through. So this ground beef is done. That's all it takes. That right there is our filling for our enchiladas. All right, guys, so here we are in the corner of my kitchen with my cheese shredder. I have got a block of Longhorn style cheddar cheese. This could be sharp cheddar, mild cheddar, whatever cheddar is your preference. I do recommend cheddar for this, but I guess maybe pepper jack or Monterey Jack would be okay as well. This is what I'm going to be shredding up today. Now, in a pinch, you can use the stuff that is pre-shredded at the grocery store. Personally, I would say try not to. There's an anti-caking agent that's on that cheese that keeps it from getting clumped up in a big old ball in that bag. And that same anti-caking agent makes it not the best melting cheese when it comes to dishes like this. But if you're in a pinch, go ahead and do that. Or better yet, just grab the mild cheddar sliced cheese in the packages and layer that on top of your enchiladas. It's quick and it's simple, and it doesn't have that anti-caking agent on it, so it'll be a little bit better. But if you've got the time, guys, go ahead and just shred up a block of cheese. It's going to taste so much better. So I am going to get this block of cheese shredded. We're not going to use the whole thing. I'm just going to shred all of it. But I'm going to get it ready to go. There we go, guys. This cheese is all shredded. I'm going to pop this into a zip top bag and put it in my refrigerator until we're ready to use it. And of course, we'll be using this all throughout the week, not just today. All right, guys, so the time has come. We are ready to assemble our enchiladas. This really is, in my opinion, the easiest part of the whole ordeal, but I will change your view so you can see what I'm doing and show you up close how I roll my enchiladas, just so you can see every little step that I do. I've got my tortillas, I've got my cheddar cheese, I have my ground beef. I popped it in the fridge and let it get super cold, so it is nice and chilled now. And then this is my enchilada sauce. This is Hatch green chili enchilada sauce with roasted garlic. If you guys can find this sauce, buy it. This is, in my opinion, the best green chili enchilada sauce on the market. I know that it says medium on there. Don't worry, it's not spicy at all, but it is delicious. So if you can't find it, I mean, whatever green chili enchilada sauce you can find will probably be fine. But this, by far, you know, so much better than all the rest. All right, I'm going to go open this can, get a spoon, and we will get to rolling. All right, guys, I have brought you down all nice and close, and as you can see, I have gloved up. Nothing is hot, nothing is spicy. This just gets a little bit messy. It's greasy, things like that. So I didn't want my hands to get all super greasy and yucky. I popped on gloves. It's easier, you know, that kind of thing. All right, so let's start. The very first step is to take a little bit of your sauce, and we're going to put it on the bottom of our casserole dish. I am using a 9x13. That is the perfect size to make my enchiladas. And we're just going to kind of smear this around like so. And this is really just going to kind of keep everything from sticking to the bottom of the pan. There's a lot of cheese in here, so there's a lot of grease. It's going to be fine on the sides, but we don't want the tortillas to stick on the bottom. So just a little bit of sauce. I've got a thin coating. You can see through it, so that gets us started. All right, now we are going to take our tortilla. As you can see, it is nice and pliable. It does not break. We are going to put some ground beef on there. This is one of those moments where you really want to remember less is more. Okay, we don't need a ton of ground beef on here. but we just need a little bit. I'm going to take just the tiniest bit of this green enchilada sauce, not much at all, and just a little bit of cheese and place it on top. I feel like the cheese kind of holds everything in place like a glue while this is cooking. So we pop that in there, and then we're just going to roll. I'm going to fold mine in half and then pull back and roll until I have this nice little cigar-shaped enchilada. Seam side down in your pan, kind of press a little bit to help him hold his shape. And then we move on to the next one. All right. Again, like I said, you guys, less is more. Don't go overboard on the filling. All you're going to do if you do that is make a big, big mess. So just a small spoonful will do. I think I got too much cheese there too. All right, and again with the rolling process, I'm going to take the end and fold it over. I'm going to put them together, and then I'm going to kind of pull back to get it nice and tight, and we're going to roll. And like I said before, seam side down into our casserole dish. Always seam side down. That keeps it from unrolling on itself. All right, so that is 2 of 14. I'm going to roll the other 12. Here we go. All right, guys, we have rolled 14 enchiladas. Now let me show you what we need to do next. Look at these guys. They're all laid in there nice and neatly. Oh, I will go ahead and touch on this. So I do have extra meat. I always cook extra meat. It makes excellent tacos. And sometimes if somebody doesn't want an enchilada, they can have a taco. Or maybe they want one enchilada and one taco. I don't know. You do you. Anyway, if you do cook some extra meat and you don't want it today, taco meat that is cooked freezes beautifully. So zip top baggie in your freezer, label it, and it's good for about 2 months in there. So either way, it is a winning situation if you ask me. All right, back to the enchiladas. Now, we have tons of sauce left, see? Now we're gonna go ahead and use all of it. Now, the one thing I really wanna stress to you guys is when I sauce, I make sure and I start on these ends here, okay? That's where I put my sauce before I do anything else. These ends will get super hard if they're not covered in like some sauce and cheese. When you bake them, they can get super hard and kind of hard to bite through and stuff like that. It's just the nature of a corn tortilla. So I make sure that that is where I put my sauce first of all. And this is the way I do it every single time I make enchiladas, whether they are red enchiladas or green enchiladas, meat enchiladas or cheese enchiladas. It doesn't really matter. I always do it this way. I'm very careful to make sure that I get those end pieces. Go. And then we don't want to forget these guys here. A little sauce there, a little sauce here. Okay. Now we have tons of sauce left, no worries. We're going to go ahead and make sure each enchilada gets sauce. Now, I mean, you could just kind of pour it over however you want. I'm one of those people that likes to really make sure everything gets nicely sauced. So I'm a little more cautious with my saucing technique on these. To me, the star of the show is this green sauce. It's where the majority of your flavor is. So I want to make sure everybody gets a nice amount of sauce all over the outside of the tortilla. But I mean, if you're in a rush or whatever, or you're not that picky about it, go ahead and just pour it on however you want, guys. All right, I've made sure that everybody got some sauce. See there? And I still have a little bit left. So now I'm just going to take the rest of the sauce that's left and just kind of do this with it. Make sure everybody gets a little extra. We don't want to waste any for sure. Get it down on these edges here, this end. This last little bit of sauce. All right, there we go. They are beautifully sauced. Now, one last step. All right, here's where I'm gonna let you just kind of go rogue. You do what you want, man. I'm gonna put cheese on mine, and I'm not going to go light with the cheese, right? I've mentioned a few times we don't drink dairy milk, really, and we don't. But we do like our cheese in this household. So I'm going to very generously top these guys with some cheese. And just like I did with the sauce, I'm going to start on the end pieces like that to make sure that they are covered. Here we go. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, if you're here worried about the amount of fat from this cheese, you are cooking the wrong dish, guys. Enchiladas are not known for being like super healthy. They are known for being super tasty. And these, oh man, they taste so delicious. And like I mentioned before, I do beef because that's just the way we like them. I've seen a lot of people do green chili enchiladas with chicken. That's really, really popular. It's not my favorite, but you guys might really like it. So I would honestly suggest giving it a shot. I've even seen people use like pork carnitas to make enchiladas before. So just kind of do whatever feels right to you. I mean, that's the thing with cooking, right? You have a recipe, but to me, it's kind of like suggestions, right? Some measurements are necessary to get a cake to bake properly, right? Or to make a pancake work. But when it comes to stuff like this, do what feels right. Do what tastes good for your family. You're not going to go wrong if you change the meat. You're not going to go wrong if you change the cheese. It's up to you, whatever you like. I mean, I've seen enchiladas done so many different ways. I've seen people put shrimp in them. I have seen people make them Greek style with some Greek meat inside and then top them with some feta cheese, which is not even a melting cheese, but it's so delicious when it cooks. That's a whole nother story though, guys. Even Italian enchiladas have been done before. So, short story long, do what feels good to you. Just take the recipe, look at the guidelines and be like, okay, like this is the technique for making this dish, but change it up a little bit and make it right for your family and your household. That really is how some amazing dinners are made. All right. Speech over. Here we go. These are my enchiladas. Look at all that cheese and deliciousness. Can you see it on the side? A little bit, yeah. You can see the enchiladas are rolled in there. Anyway, I'm going to take this and pop it in my 350-degree oven, and it's going to cook for about 15 minutes. I did have my meat in the refrigerator, and it got super, super cold. So I may have to let them go 20 minutes just to make sure they heat through. I'll keep an eye on them, and then I will show you guys what they look like when I pull them out and plate them. All right, guys, the enchiladas have been in my oven for, about 20 minutes. We're going to go ahead and pull them out. Oh, I cannot wait. One of my favorite meals tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we have enchiladas. Yum. Let me bring you in a little closer, see if you can see all the bubbly goodness going on. There they are. There is beef rolled up in some softened tortillas with some green chili sauce, some cheese. Oh, you cannot go wrong, you guys. This is such a delicious dinner. All right, guys, dinner is served. Take a look at that. These are our delicious beef green chili enchiladas. They held their shape perfectly, as you can see, because we rolled them and we placed them seam side down. We softened them perfectly in that oil before we worked with them so they didn't fall apart. We've got our seasoned ground beef in the middle, not too much in there, just enough flavor to make it just right. We've got our green chili sauce and our ooey gooey cheese. You can even see, look, there's a green chili peeking through, you guys. Oh, it smells heavenly too. I cannot wait to dig in. This is by far my favorite meal and definitely one of my husband's favorites too. We absolutely love these enchiladas. Now, I know if you've seen my grocery hauls, you know I have gotten slim fast. Obviously, I am trying to eat a little healthier. I'm avoiding the rice and beans like I would get at a traditional Mexican restaurant, and I'm serving it with a simple side salad. I've got some spring lettuce mix, bell peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, and a little bit of that Olive Garden dressing on top, and that is it. That is my side for tonight. So not too bad, right? All right, that is all I have for tonight, you guys. I hope you will try this recipe at home. Comment down below and let me know what you think. Please like this video and please subscribe to my channel to help me build up my community. I appreciate all of you so very much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys really, really soon. Bye.